I'm glad you could join us. We're at the Multicultural Center at Sonoma State University, and our guest is Charles Bonner, who's an attorney with an office in Sausalito. Nice to see you, Charles.
Good to see you too,
As
Jack.
an attorney and also as an author, we'll talk about this in a moment.
Certainly.
You know, you've come through the education, through the colleges and the rest of it, and from your perspective as an educated man and an attorney, when you look at the Black History Month, you know, this month, what do you see, or what do you feel about it?
Jack, I feel a tremendous movement that sparked not only the hearts and compassion of Americans, but the whole world. The civil rights movement that grew out of my hometown in Selma, Alabama, and now is known around the globe. Dr. King's emphasis on nonviolence, community service, and love, compassion. Major themes now that are not only important to Black Americans, but important to all Americans. We all now enjoy rights as a result of Dr. King's efforts in teaching those particular themes.
Yeah, and I think one of the obligations that people have, like yourself, and we all do, is to the youth, to young people. They have to understand some of the places and things that you may have gone through, other people have gone through, to get to where you are today.
Absolutely. You know, one of the important lessons of King's movement, his nonviolent social protests, was that you can make social change, important social changes, through nonviolent techniques. We see kids now, not only in America, but around the world, throwing rocks, shooting each other, shooting other people, engaging in violence. There is nothing good to be had with that kind of conduct. If you look at the teachers of the world, Jesus, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, all of those individuals were ultimately killed by some evil person. But we don't know the names of the person who killed Jesus, or the name of the person who killed Gandhi, or the name of the person truly who killed Dr. King. But we know Jesus, we know Gandhi, and we know Dr. King. I think that is a powerful testimony to the power of good and to the everlasting endurance of the message of those who preach peace and love and compassion compared to those who engage in evil.
Yeah. One of the things, I know you have your book here. Let me mention the book while we're talking about it, called The Bracelet by Charles Bonner, and the story that will end child sex slavery in the world. There's still slavery of different kinds, isn't there? And the story behind this is what?
Jack, as you probably know, I'm a civil rights attorney of 31 years now, and I represent a young girl who 4 years ago was 16 years old, and she was chained in a dungeon as a sex slave. She escaped, got this predator arrested, and brought to light that this multimillionaire in Syracuse, New York, had been kidnapping young girls for almost 20 years, chaining them in his dungeon. 4 other girls came forth as a result of my client's brave act of escaping. We took all of his money, gave it to the 5 victims, put him in jail for life. And one of the things he would do to ingratiate himself with these young women was to tell them that he would not allow them to be sold to this worldwide market of child sex slavery. Now, we thought maybe he was just joking, but I then went and researched that issue. I traveled to Japan, I traveled to Thailand, I traveled to Malaysia, I traveled to Brazil, to Israel, with the idea of researching whether or not this problem does exist. The chief counsel, Alice Hall, to the Homeland Security Secretary, just announced at the end of September that child sex slavery and human trafficking is now a $32 billion per year industry, second only to arms and drugs. We can end it, we must end it, and I think we can end it by 2012.
And the book is called The Bracelet.
Yes.
Charles, nice to have you here. Everyone's come a long ways over those years. Charles Bonner, an attorney, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.